Hey y'all, this is Bewindi Bob, your lovely host with Empower to Empower You podcast. Listen, before you listen to the show, I wanted to quickly check in with you. Have you purchased the books Empowerment for You, Encouragement for Your Emotional and Spiritual Wellness, and the Empower to Empower You workbook? If you have not, please visit bewindi.com and get your resources today. You can also find those on Amazon. You could just search my name, Bewindi Bob, and they will come up. If you have received and if you have purchased those resources, those amazing resources for you, would you do me a favor? Would you write a review on Amazon and share how these books have been a blessing to you, how they've added value to your lives? I really want to hear from you. How are the books helping you? What are you learning from the books? Share your takeaways with me. Share it on the review. Listen, I would love for you to do that for me. And also, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. All right, let's get to the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Empowered to Empower You podcast. This is your lovely host, Miss Bewindi Bob. I hope that you're doing well. I am so excited to be back on the microphone. Listen, the previously recorded episode was Let's Talk About Abstinence with Giovante Douglas. What an amazing episode. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation on this platform. Let me remind you that Empowered to Empower You podcast is about all things Jesus Christ, mental health, anything to help you become the better version of yourself. Just a disclaimer, this podcast does not replace the need for therapy. So if you need a professional, please get you a professional. It's okay to invest in your emotional wellness. It's okay to have a therapist and be a Christian. It's okay to be a professional and be in therapy. I want to welcome you to episode 110. Episode 110, we're going to have, I am so excited, y'all. We have Miss Dr. Kerriel Lyles back again. You probably remember Dr. Kerriel Lyles from episode 103 when she talked about empowering young adults and youth. And so she's here to talk about life coaching in the school system. I'm not going to go through her bio. If you want to hear more about her, you could kind of skip on to episode 103. So we're just going to jump in and talk about life coaching in the school system. Dr. K is here. What's up?
Yes, I am here and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you again for having me.
It is my pleasure. Listen, last episode, we were talking offline. Last episode, honey, you came with the fire, okay? The fire. I had somebody in Florida who listened to your podcast and she was like, oh my gosh, her passion, the heat, it was hot.
Yes, I definitely had a lot of family and friends just saying like, oh my goodness, I felt the passion. Like I had to keep going because I just wanted to finish it all because you were just so passionate. And they was like, I could feel your smile. So yes, I'm glad to be back.
And that's who you are genuinely. And I love, and that's why I had to have you back. That's one of the reasons why I had to have you back, because you have so much to offer. So let's talk about, when people hear the words coaching and they hear the words counseling, and sometimes people get confused. And I know that's probably another conversation, but just for a quick overview, high level overview, let's talk about the difference between coaching and counseling. What do you think the difference is?
All right. So counseling. Counseling is going to help with your past childhood experiences, things that you have buried, things that you thought that, you put that behind you, but it's still hindering your presence and it's holding you back from your future. That's what counseling is for, because you got to dig deeper. You have to, it's at the bottom of that thing and you can't move forward. It's not an icing on a cake, because the icing on a cake don't help it. Counseling helps you dig deeper. Yes, it don't feel good in the beginning, but once you keep going through that process and keep going through counseling, once you dig deep, it helps you see things from a different perspective. It helps you find yourself, because a lot of people are trying to figure out who they are, and that's what counseling do. Now, life coaching, not saying that you're perfect, but it's saying, hey, you have already dealt with some things and it's not really holding you back, but you like, oh, I just need some motivation here. I need some help in this area, career. It can be personal, things of that sort. It's more of icing on the cake. You need accountability. That's what life coaching is about. It's about that accountability partner that is non-judgmental, non-biased, things of that sort. But it don't get on that deep level. Counseling is for that deep level when you haven't dealt with some things that you need to deal with in order to move forward. Coaching is more focused on, okay, I'm just trying to figure some things. I got some hiccups here and there, and I just need some help to move along. So that's my perspective on the difference of coaching and counseling.
Absolutely. And absolutely, because coaching, focuses on more of, what can I do to help you move forward, right? Counseling looks at what happened in the past that's keeping you from moving forward. And there's a difference in the dynamics of the relationship. So, it's so interesting as a therapist, and I provide mindset motivational coaching. My clients in therapy call me Ms. Bob, right? But coaching, it's two peers working together. I'm not over you per se. I'm not, you don't have to wait till your next appointment to reach out to me. Right. If you need to contact, like I'm working with you towards getting you unstuck, right? Yeah. Or decluttering your mind, or whatever the task is that you need to complete. So it's very, very different. I'm not diagnosing you. I'm not talking about I'm not doing any of those things, which I don't prescribe medications, but it's very, very different. And so people can also be in counseling and have a coach at the same time.
Yes, you can.
When you mentioned, and I'm so glad we're here to talk about life coaching in the school system. So when you mentioned coaching in the workplace decreases turnover rates, you said that in an offline conversation. Let's talk about that for a second. How does coaching in the workplace decrease turnover rates?
Just because with everything going on now with the COVID, with the pandemic, and when it happened, and just focusing right now on education wise, the focus was so much on the kids. The focus was so much on the parents that staff and teachers, like, what about me? They just had to go through that thing, and it was overwhelming. They wasn't having support because, hey, they supervised, the principals or whatever had to make sure the school was still rolling, make sure this and that. Hey, find your way, figure it out. And so many people start quitting. So many people start retiring. And it's like, I can't do this. This is too much. I can't do this. But when you bring somebody in, because sometimes all they need is somebody just to listen to. Sometimes all they need is just like, I just need a little guidance. I just need a little support. The support nowadays in the education system, sadly to say, is not there. It is not there. And think about it like this. Our staff and our teachers, our educators are with these students. I was talking about in the last episode about, students. They are with these students. We are there to empower them. But if you're not empowered, if your tank is empty, how can you empower our future generation? They can't. I'm sorry, they can't. So how can our kids, our teenagers, our young adults open up and trust and feel like they're going to get the support from their educators when the educators don't have much to give them? They're just trying to get through the day. This word that I tell my students all the time, I don't like the word survive. And that's what a lot of our teachers and our educators doing. I'm just trying to survive through the day. Why are we trying to survive? Surviving is such a negative word and people don't realize it. No, you should be thriving. You should be living. You should. But so many people have forgot their whys. I just recently did a training and with family service providers. And one of my questions is, why do you do this? They forgot their why. They forgot, well, everything going on, they forgot they why. And you need people like life coaches in the school system. And not just, right now we focus on school system, but it's needed everywhere. So many people need support in their fields now. They need more guidance. They need people to help motivate them. so they can do what they supposed to do. And it's just so important, because definitely if they got the support that they needed, that definitely the staff turnover would definitely increase, and they would be more motivated and understand they why they doing what they do each and every day.
That is so true. My heart goes out to the teachers and the educators and even the administrators who are having to do this work and are working tirelessly, and then they themselves don't feel supported, don't have any systems in place to help to be able to share or guide them in this process, or just as you said, to have a listening ear. So I can see the impact of having somebody in the school system or even in the workplace that specifically sets up a space for them to provide them. Sometimes people just need a listening ear, or sometimes people do need to vent. Sometimes people do need to brainstorm some solutions and not feel like, if I ask a question, am I going to be judged? If I have a problem with this, is somebody going to say, well, you should already know this, right? And so I'm really, really glad that you shared that. So what should people, you mentioned there are many types. Let me just disclaimer, there are many types of coaches. Every day there's a new name for a coach. There's mindset coach, there's motivational coach, there's life coach, there's money coach, there's productivity coach, there's spiritual coach. I even saw somebody said trauma coach. Now, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you could be a trauma coach, but let me not share anything. Let me shut my mouth. Okay. But what should people what should people be looking for in a life coach?
When you're trying to be a life coach, it's a lot of people calling themselves coaches and they don't have the education behind it or the experiences. They just feel like, oh, I'm good at talking. I figured out literally, that's what people put titles on themselves because they feel like that's what I'm good at. But let me tell you something. I shared this in the training that I just recently did. Passion without purpose is a hobby.
Ooh.
I'm going to say that again. Passion without purpose is a hobby. Mm-hmm. If you're not living in your purpose, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in your purpose, you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt the so-called people you say that you're helping. Yeah. That's only causing harm. And that's why so many people don't like going to counseling, don't like going to coaching, don't want to talk and share things because they have got hurt. People get hurt when you go to the wrong people. Yeah. You want to make sure these people, honestly, a certificate, yes, it don't take no time to be a certified coach. I'm just going to be honest with you. But it's more than that. I like that the fact that I'm not just a certified life coach. I'm in my field. I've been in this field for almost 15 years in the psychology field. I understand how to push people, how to help people, how to get people through, how to support them, how to empower them, how to motivate them, how to encourage somebody. I understand that. Mm-hmm. And then my experiences, all that plays a part when you're trying to help somebody, when somebody's looking and say, why should I hire her? Why should I go to this person? It's a lot that you should consider and not say, oh, well, it say certified coach. No, you need to do your homework. Just like you do your homework when you're about to go to the doctor. You're not finna just go to any doctor. You're going to make sure you do your homework before you go to the doctor. We do our homework when, do I want to take my child to this school or do I want to do it? We do our homework when we do. Always do your homework for yourself. Always. That's important. So you want to make sure that when you are finding a coach, like Ms. Bewindi said, it's a lot of coaches out there. Now we're gonna go back to the trauma coach. There's no such thing as a trauma coach. You need therapy. You need therapy, and no certification makes them qualified to do any trauma discussion. Nothing. I'm just put that out there right now. Do not go to a person that said they're a trauma coach. You need a therapist.
Absolutely. Period. Period. Because you can risk, you can, if you're doing it in the wrong way. I mean, this is a serious business. This is serious. When you're talking to people and you're sharing guidance, you're helping people, you really have to, this is not about just a getting paid. It's about, it's more than that. You are putting yourself in position to, your what you're doing can help or hurt people, and it's very serious. It needs to be taken seriously and not for granted. So what are some things that people should be, so in addition to researching, in addition to, making sure that they know what they're looking for, what are some things that people should be looking for? What are some things that, maybe questions that they should ask, or things that they should be looking for in a coach, for example? Just a few examples if you want to.
For instance, like, first ask your question, why you want a life coach?
Mm-hmm.
First, you have to ask your question. What are some things that's making you say, I need a life coach. I need a, and sometimes people look at it differently from a life coach or a mentor. It can all kind of fall in the same category, but why? Why are you needing this accountability in this area? Why are you needing it? You need to ask yourself that. And so then once you ask yourself that, then you want to find somebody that can align with that. When people reach out to me, I have a free consultation because it says, let's make sure we are a good match. I don't want you to just come to me and say, oh, well, it said you was a coach, and then we don't align, because that's hindering your growth. That's hindering you. And I don't want to hinder you. You don't want to hinder yourself. So you want to make sure whoever you are looking for, that you understand why you want to do it. But then you also want to make sure that whoever you get is it's aligned, so you can get that growth that you need to be successful, to get what you're paying for. Make sure that you are paying for what you went after. That's so important. I feel like the alignment is so important. That's the only way that coach can help you, and that's the only way you can grow from that interaction.
Absolutely. So let's jump into the benefits of having a coach, a life coach in the classroom or in the school system, which is what you do. What have you found?
It's a lot of benefits of having a coach in the education system. Teachers, staff will understand and enjoy their job again.
Mm-hmm.
They will not be looking and say, oh, have the bell rung yet? Is it 3:00 yet? Like, no, they will enjoy their job again. They will feel like they have the support that they need. They will feel like they are heard. Sometimes staff and teachers and just workers, period, they feel like they're not appreciated.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
So having a coach helps them get that value back, helps them to let them know, I am appreciated. I am good at what I do. I am worth. I know my worth. Like, it's so many benefits of a coach being a part of the school system. And I'm gonna just say this: when you help yourself, it sprinkles down to who you are interacting with, impacted. And so when staff and teachers help themselves, it shows in your students. It shows your delivery changes, your support and your guidance for your students, even your co-workers. Your communication change, your outlook on situations change once you get the help that you need. Administrators, principals, a lot is carried on their back. But if you have a coach present in your school system, it helps you take that load off. It helps you say, you know what? Because see, again, Everybody, it's not meant for you to try to do all things. Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. And that's how you get overwhelmed. That's how you forget who you supposed to be taking care of. And somebody you supposed to have an individual meeting with that month. It's been 6 months. They haven't had a sit down with you. You don't know how they doing because you're too busy and you're too tied up here. Separate that. Give some of that to other people, like a life coach, so your staff and teachers say, you know what? Hey, did you do your check-in this week? Did you do your check-in last month? How's everything going? It's easier. It makes the process easier. It makes going to work more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It makes people smile more. So many people are angry. This world we live in is so dark. It's so dark. And people should be able to go to work and enjoy going to work. Not, oh my goodness, when is going to be the weekend again? Wow, we shouldn't have this negative attitude. But guess what? Because when we have that negative attitude, it sprinkles on our kids. Teachers and educators are so important. Why? Because they are with our kids majority of the day. They are most of the time with their kids more than parents are with their kids, because parents working. They only see, they pick them up, they take them to school, they come home, shower, work, bed, and you back at school. So if teachers don't love what they do, if teachers are not happy, if teachers have nothing but a negative vibe, what do you think happening to the kids?
Yeah. And I love that, the life coaching piece allows not only them to be re-energized, and even before re-energized, creating a space to remind them to go back to why are you a teacher in the first place? To go back to, their values, to go back to their beliefs, to go back to their purpose. And how is their purpose? Because sometimes when we get caught up in the busyness of the business, we tend to forget our why. And when you're disconnected to your why, you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment. You're even exhibiting behaviors that are not even in alignment with who you are, with who you say you are, with who you say that you're going to be, who you say that you're going to become. So you start complaining, you start being very negative. But if somebody said you're a negative person, that's not you. Oh no, not me. I am very positive, right? So it gets you away from your authenticity. And so it's really good. I could see the influence of having a person who is available to the staff, and not just for the students, but who's available for the staff, who's available for the leadership, to be able to have those conversations that are so needed. So let's talk about, how do you serve in this capacity? And are you familiar of life coaches in the school system where you are?
No. This is still new, and this sometimes they're like, oh, well, they have trainings. They don't need this or they don't need that. You would think once you put that out there, you will have all school systems reaching out. Yes, we need this, we need that. But no, they like, oh, they get trainings. They get this. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
Will they?
Oh.
What we put our energy in, that's how we're going to get a result. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what we value, if we value our teachers and our staff, then we have to show them that you actually value them. And it's not all, we have staff appreciation day, buy you some cookies and give you some coffee and all that. No, give them the support they need. One thing about teachers, back in the day, if anything was going on with a child, most of the time a teacher saw it. They saw when a child was different. They paid attention that child behavior change. They wasn't having a good day. But now, no, they don't notice. Oh, something was wrong with them. I didn't, and they say, I didn't notice. I didn't see. Why? Because they they so tied up with, oh my goodness, I got all this to do. I'm just overwhelmed, just so much going on, things of that sort, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, but you're supposed to be there for the kids. We supposed, that's what we literally there for, but we not. Me being a teacher, I can, when my students come in, and someone have, my first question after that bell rings, how we doing today? How y'all day going? Like, I ask them because I let them know that I care. What, and somebody be like, oh, it was a long day, or it's a bad day. What made it so bad? Let's talk about it. Like, let them know I care. But students don't feel that anymore. They don't feel like teachers care. They don't feel like staff. It's hard to find a staff that care. And that staff that care, she overwhelmed because all the students want to just talk to her. We have to take care of our workers, our staff, our teachers. We have to. And it starts with bringing help into the school systems. And that's everywhere, you know. Honestly, my stepmom, she's a nurse, and she's been a nurse for a long time. And when I was telling her about me getting into this, and she was like, we need this at the hospital. We need this because of the pandemic. She was like, we need this. It's needed everywhere. I mean, I'm going off, but it's needed with the police. It's needed. Like, if we had more support for our first responders, and when I say first responders, I'm talking about teachers, I'm talking about police, I'm talking about nurses, I'm talking about the people that's needed. Like, they can't just take a day out, they have to be present. Those people, it should be required before they come back to work, they ain't spoke to a life coach. It should be mandatory, mandated, but it's not. It's not. It's, oh, you just experienced this, oh, you'll be all right, keep it moving. And that's not okay. It's not okay. And that's why so many people are quitting. So many people don't love what they do anymore. It's like, I'm just doing it for a paycheck. And then some of them is like, it's not even worth that paycheck anymore. That's sad. That hurts me, because so many people, light, they had that light, you could see it shine from miles away. In situations, and people have dimmed it because they have let out. The tank is empty. They don't have anything filling them back up. So we brought in more coaches, more life coaches, more support for our staff, our teachers, our workers, our first responders. We can see a decrease in turnover. We can see a decrease in aggression. We can see a decrease in people just like unhappy. You like, all it takes is one step. All it takes is one person. And you know, all it takes is one person or one principal saying, oh, we got a life coach with us. You know, we don't have it. That's all it takes. And then like, really? What we need to do? And that's how you can build the positivity. That's how we can get our light back in the school. That's how we can go back and empower our students. But the teachers and staff have to feel empowered first in order to empower the students.
And there will be such a great return on investment as well, especially with the retention rates. So in terms of wrapping this conversation, a couple questions in how you're serving as a life coach currently, or is this something that you're currently building? Is this something that's already established in your school?
So I'm currently building. I'm actually in the process. I had to do some proposals and things of that sort. I am an educational trainer for in here in Houston, but I'm not actually a life coach yet, and that's something that I'm definitely working on, and I'm not going to give up on that because it's so important and it's so needed. Even when I just brought it up to some staff and said, hey, last year, and I was talking to some staff, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about talking to the principal and things of that sort to be a life coach here for the school district. She was like, we need you like yesterday.
Mm-hmm. It is so needed.
And she was like, and we're not playing. Like, we need, like, they need it. They want it. Like, they want it. And so we all know when you're trying to bring something new into something, it's different ladders and different levels to it. And so I have did my homework, and I have reached out to many principals, even superintendents. And so I have already submitted a proposal to one of the boards of one of the school districts. So I'm just waiting to hear back on that. But I'm definitely excited about the process. I'm excited to be able to get that started so we can have that support for our teachers and staff, and it's so needed. And once, I can't do it by myself, but all it takes is one person to start it off, for other school districts, for other people to realize and say, oh, I want to be a part of that. A lot of staff and teachers like, okay, I don't want to be in the classroom no more, but I can do this. They can realize, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I can do this. I can support my fellow teachers. I can support, like, all it takes is one person, though. All it takes is one person to make a difference for it to be a domino effect.
Mm-hmm. Somebody has to light the match.
Exactly. And that's important.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited for you because it is such a that is so needed in the classroom, and not just in the school, but as you said, in every workplace can benefit from somebody who's there, a workplace buddy, right? A workplace mentor, a workplace coach, a workplace person, support that functions as a life coach to be able to help them with tasks or just help them move forward. Because for some people, it's very hard to navigate different stressors or things. And sometimes, yes, therapy. We're both advocates for therapy. I am a therapist as well, but sometimes it's not. There may just be a need for coaching sometimes, and if there is a need for therapy, I'm sure the recommendation will be made, right? But sometimes it's just, hey, I don't need to talk about my childhood. I don't need to talk about things from the past. I just need help problem solving. I'm having struggles organizing. I'm having struggles prioritizing my day. I get stressed out of the little simple task. I feel overwhelmed and overloaded by the demands, and I don't really know how to navigate what with my day, right? And so sometimes it's just good to have somebody. So I'm really excited for you, and I know. Now, I want to say hope, but I know that even you having this conversation publicly on this episode, now you can take this episode and, like, bam, listen to this, bam, listen to that, share it with people that can really hear that. And so for people, what is your call to action? In under 60 minutes, what is your call to action for people? Number one, the people that you want them to get in connection with you, that say, hey, you know what, we need that proposal. What is your call to action for people that can join you in lighting the match, to join you as life coaches in the workplace?
What I would say is that, one, my main thing is to make teachers and staff daily life, career, easier.
Yes.
That word easier, it is so important. It sounds small. Easier. No, it will. Something so small in somebody else's eyes can be so big in another person's eyes. And so when you say easier, you're saying, hey, I'm here to help take the load off you. I'm here to show support. What do you need? A lot of staff and teachers don't get that. What do you need? I'm here. What do you need? How can I make your day better? How can I help you? How can you say, you know what? I understand my why again. That's what I want to bring to the school system. I want to help them show that it's somebody that's there to support their staff and teachers. It's somebody there to help motivate them, to empower them, to encourage them, to, hey, you just need to vent. You need someone to listen to. You need somebody to say, oh, you know what? I'm here for you. So you can say, I made it through the week. Well, I smiled. I was more positive. I didn't let that get to me. Like, they notice those small things once you get that help, once you get that support. And that's so important. So other life coaches, if you used to be, you have a lot of people that say, you know what, I'm done in the education system. I want to go, I'm going to total left. I'm going to a different field. But now if you're listening to me right now and you used to be an educator and now you're doing something else and you like, I can help. I can give back to what I used to love to do. You just got burnt out and you said enough was enough and you just said, I got to move somewhere else. But if you're listening to me right now, reach out to me. Let's reach out to these school districts. Let's reach out to and say, hey, we are here to help the load, help you to not feel like you have to carry everything by yourself. We are here to support your staff and your teachers and be there to help decrease staff turnover. Because it's so, like, teachers are leaving left and right. So bring in people that can help you do that. And yeah, and honestly, I feel like it is important to bring in people that are educators too, that have like an education background, that can and understand what the teachers and staff are going through. And I feel like the school districts will be more acceptable. Say, oh, you're a life coach now, but you used to be in the education. Like, I feel like that will be like, oh, they're more willing to listen. They're more willing to say, okay, I hear you. I can give this a try, because they understand that you've been here before. So I think honestly, that's going to be important, that you do have some type of, not just any life coach can do this. Honestly, I'm just going to keep it, real. You got to have some type of education background and been in the field, so they can say, oh, you can relate. That word being relatable is so important. They want to know, can you really relate? Like, yeah, you had a teacher, this and that, but no, have you been in the field? Do you really understand what I'm going through? Have you been here? Can you relate to me? And they'd be willing to say, oh, you know what, you can help. See, that's a difference. And so I want to make sure I put that out there, and to make sure it's not just any life coach you want to bring into the school district. You want to make sure it's somebody that has an education background as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kerriel. So for people to, I know we shared your contact information in episode 103, but just for people to kind of keep on their forefront of their minds today, how, if you can quickly share, how can people connect with you?
Yeah, so of course, my website at www.drkmotivates.com. You can also follow me on IG at Dr. K Motivates, also on TikTok at Dr. K Motivates, Twitter at Dr. Kerriel, and LinkedIn at Dr. Kerriel Lyles.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here to share. And I cannot wait to hear how the spark becomes a flame in your in being in your position as a support and a life coach in the school system and even beyond. I believe that other people are going to reach out to you and say, hey, we need to contract with you too. So I cannot wait to hear that on your journey, and that people are going to connect with you as well. And everyone, I hope that you heard, I hope that you were encouraged by Kerriel. I hope that I just love her, and I love her heart. I love her passion for what she does and her purpose, her walking in her purpose. So I hope that there was something that you heard that really encouraged you today. And if this message, this episode does not pertain to you, but you know somebody that, you know what, this will be great for somebody else to hear, share the episode, rate, and don't forget to rate and review the podcast. The more ratings this gets, the more the word goes around, the more people get to hear it. This is your lovely host, Miss Bewindi Bob, and I'll be back next time with an amazing episode. Have an amazing week on purpose.